The energy around this fight has been building for months, and the anticipation is unlike anything we've seen in boxing for quite some time. From the start, Terence Crawford's trainer, BoMac McIntyre, made it clear that weight differences and size advantages would not matter when Crawford steps into the ring with Canelo Alvarez. He has been firm and direct every time he addresses the media, sending a message not just to the fans, but directly to Canelo himself. BoMac insists Crawford has been fighting bigger men throughout his career and always found a way to win, always figured out the puzzle in front of him. That's why he says this fight is not about numbers on a scale, it's about skill, intelligence, and mindset. At the press conference, when reporters pushed him on concerns about head movement, about defense, about how Crawford would deal with the sheer physicality of Canelo, BoMac brushed it off with a confidence that only comes from years of watching his fighter prepare. He reminded everyone that's why you have a coaching team, nutritionists, doctors, and trainers. He said they've been in the gym every day sharpening Crawford's game, and when it comes down to it, all the questions about size will not matter. For BoMac, this fight isn't just about winning, it's about writing history. He framed it as Crawford's opportunity to cement his place as the best pound-for-pound fighter alive, and he believes the way to do that is by defeating Canelo Alvarez. BoMac spoke from the heart about how far Crawford has come. He reminded people that there were times when Crawford couldn't land the big fights, when he had to fight through doubt and politics just to get the recognition he deserved. Those days of knocking on doors and fighting whoever would step in the ring are over. Now Crawford is on the biggest stage in the sport, reaping generational wealth and proving all the doubters wrong. For BoMac, this fight isn't just about Crawford, it's about the entire team and the years they've put into reaching this level. And he truly believes that Canelo is the one who should be worried. But the storyline leading up to this fight isn't just about Crawford's preparation. Reports surfaced that Canelo struggled during sparring sessions with Jaron Boots Ennis, a fighter many believe stylistically resembles Crawford. Ennis is known for his slick defense, sharp counters, and lightning-quick feet. When word got out that Canelo reportedly had difficulty against Ennis in sparring in a controlled gym setting, the boxing world erupted with speculation. Sparring is not the same as an official bout, but the whispers carried meaning. If Canelo found it tough against a fighter who fights like Crawford in a controlled gym setting, what will happen under the bright lights on fight night? Crawford supporters used this rumor as more fuel, pointing out that if Canelo had trouble with Ennis, then he may be in for an even bigger challenge against Crawford himself. Then there was the Floyd Mayweather factor. Rumors began spreading that Floyd had stepped in to advise Crawford on how to handle Canelo. After all, Mayweather is one of the few men to have beaten Alvarez back in 2013. People speculated that Mayweather had been seen with Crawford, offering tips and guidance. But the truth was different. Crawford's camp clarified that Floyd has not been to Colorado to help him prepare. The footage people saw was old, shots of Floyd and Crawford together at a Shakur Stevenson sparring session years ago. Still, the fact that Mayweather has publicly called Crawford the best fighter in the world today adds weight to the narrative. Even if Floyd isn't directly helping, his endorsement alone speaks volumes. When asked about Boots Ennis comparisons, BoMac dismissed them immediately. He acknowledged Boots is talented, but he insisted no sparring partner could replicate Terence Crawford. In his view, Crawford is unique. He blends experience, adaptability, intelligence, and timing in a way no one else can. He said people are missing the point if they think a sparring session with Ennis tells you anything about what will happen when Canelo faces Crawford. He emphasized again and again that Boots is not Crawford and sparring is not fighting. Analyst Ade Aladipo raised a separate concern about Crawford's decision to put on significant weight for the fight. He worried that Crawford's greatest strengths, his speed, rhythm, and fluidity, might be compromised if he bulks up too much. Aladipo explained that boxing is not about who is bigger, it's about who is better balanced between skill and power. Crawford has always been wiry, lean, and quick, At 130 and 140 pounds, he was skinny and built for speed. Now, he's bulked up, reportedly over 170 pounds, and while he looks powerful, Oladipo questions if this will hurt the very attributes that make him elite. He also reminded people that Canelo has taken punches from heavy hitters like Gennady Golovkin, Sergey Kovalev, and Dmitry Bivol, fighters who are naturally bigger than Crawford. None of them could truly hurt Canelo, so Oladipo is skeptical that Crawford can deliver enough damage to stop Alvarez. Still, he admitted that if Crawford can land the right shot, the one Canelo doesn't see coming, it could change everything. Other voices in the boxing community had their say as well. Trainer Bredman Edwards offered a more balanced outlook. He pointed out that Crawford is well aware of who Boots Ennis is and how dangerous he can be. He said Crawford knows Boots is the real deal, and that awareness only pushes him to prepare harder. Edwards said Crawford is smart, adaptable, and not shaken by outside noise. He knows his fighter respects Ennis, but that doesn't take his focus away from Canelo. If anything, it sharpens him. Edwards believes Crawford thrives under these circumstances and that his mental toughness is unmatched. Fans and analysts kept debating whether size would simply be too much for Crawford to overcome. After all, Canelo has spent years at higher weight classes while Crawford began his career as a lightweight. Some argue that no matter how talented Crawford is, there comes a point where physics takes over. Canelo is naturally bigger and stronger, and his power shots may overwhelm Crawford. To these fans, the size gap is the deciding factor. But others push back against that narrative. They say boxing has always been about skill, timing, and intelligence. They point out that timing can neutralize raw power, and that speed can offset size. This is the very philosophy BoMac continues to emphasize. He believes Crawford has the better skills, the sharper mind, and the ability to adapt mid-fight in ways that Canelo cannot match. Some critics aren't sold on the fight altogether. They argue that Crawford could have chosen different opponents to build his legacy without stepping up against such a big man. They respect him for chasing greatness, but they worry this could be the wrong path. Still, even those critics admit this fight gives Crawford the biggest spotlight and payday of his career. And sometimes, opportunity outweighs caution. Canelo supporters point to his unmatched experience. They argue that Canelo has been in with every style imaginable, slick boxers, brawlers, defensive specialists, and has always found a way to adjust. They highlight his composure under the brightest lights, his ability to stay calm in the face of adversity, and his resilience. These qualities combined with his natural strength make him a unique challenge for anyone, including Crawford. They believe experience and size together will be too much for Bud. The predictions vary. Some fans see Canelo knocking Crawford out. Some others see Crawford's skill and intelligence winning the day. Trainers, analysts, and former fighters are split right down the middle. But what unites everyone is the sense that this is a fight for history. It's not just about two men, it's about what happens when power collides with skill, when size goes up against speed, when legacy meets opportunity. BoMac remains as confident as ever. He reminds the media at every chance that Crawford has never lost, while Canelo has 2 losses on his record. To him, that matters. He believes undefeated fighters have a mentality and confidence that can't be matched. He says they know what it takes to win because they've done it time and again. His faith in Crawford is absolute, and he promises that come fight night, skills will pay the bills. In his eyes, Crawford's IQ, his timing, and his adaptability will all come together to carry him past the Mexican superstar. As fight night draws near, the excitement only grows. This isn't just another bout, it's a moment boxing fans will talk about for years. Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford, 2 fighters from different worlds meeting in the middle. One with size, power, and decades of experience at the highest level. The other with speed, intelligence, and the hunger to prove he belongs among the greatest of all time. The outcome will define not just their careers, but the era of boxing we are living in. And as BoMac says, When it's all said and done, the world will finally know who the best man truly is.